They should wear sunscreen. They should wear scarves if they have a cold. Who the fuck knows what they're suffering from with those red noses?
Oh my God. Wait a minute. I got it. God of High School is the post-coronavirus world where everybody's been exposed to the coronavirus, and that is a lasting impact of the coronavirus after 2 years.
No! Jesus Christ. I've been trying to avoid, catastrophe. Craig's gif. I've been trying to avoid catastrophe shows. This is why I didn't watch Japan 6 2020. Now I can't even watch glance at God of High School anymore. Thank you, Cassie.
You're welcome.
Hello there, everybody. Climb on up to the Shoujo Treehouse where we stand a goddamn flash of inspiration. My name is Cammie. You probably remember me giving you the introduction to the Annie chat box, but the Annie chat box, like a phoenix, has burned up and now risen from the ashes, is Shoujo Treehouse. And this is our first official episode of sort of the rebrand relaunch, but it's actually episode 5 of Shoujo Treehouse. And of course, my partner in crime, alongside me, the other beautiful hostess with the mostess of Shoujo Treehouse is here. It's Cassie. How are you, Cassie?
We finally got rid of them all. Finally. They're all gone. They're all dead. Except for Craig, I guess, who's
joke's
here.
on you! I'm still kicking!
Yes, if that voice sounds familiar to you, say hello again to our beloved Craig. He can never escape, honestly.
It was the funniest thing because I was talking to Lily about Kamen Rider just before we sat down, and she was like, "So you're going back, huh?" I'm like, "I got nothing else to do. It's just an anime check-in. It's very informal, so I'm here to report anime will never die despite COVID-19. I've spent the entire day watching a bunch of shit just to try and have enough to talk about today. I still don't think I've watched nearly enough things.
I'm looking at our list, and I think you've watched plenty.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I will say, at least for me, I did pretty bad at checking out a lot of seasonal stuff, but it wasn't fully my fault because, unfortunately, the toll of COVID affects everybody, and so a lot of shows were pushed to another season, given that. But even then, I was just kind of like, I'm going to watch what I want, and maybe some seasonal stuff comes up there.
Yeah, and going forward, we will do seasonal, check-ins. We'll definitely do one for fall. It's just that between the podcast dying and then re-emerging and COVID and everything else that's going on, it's just easier to just be like, well, what have we been watching in general?
Hell yeah.
So this is special. This is a special moment between us and whoever is crazy enough to listen, I guess.
Yeah. If you are here for the first time, welcome. If you are a long-time listener, God, we appreciate you.
So much. Please don't leave me. I can change.
Baby, come
but
back.
Why would you need to? So basically, if, again, you're new, one of our favorite things to do is talk in a round robin. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We have a list of a shit ton of anime that we've been watching. Some of it more recent, some of it not so recent, but we're going to give highlight to some of the shows that have been keeping us company while we social distance. And I'll go ahead and start with a show that I was anticipating for a really, really long time. As soon as it dropped, the day it dropped, I got my ass on Netflix to watch season 3 of Agretsuko. We talked about Agretsuko before on the podcast plenty. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a Sanrio character that screams death metal to make herself feel better while she deals with struggling to be an adult, which all three of us can relate to. And I have mixed feelings about it. We're going to probably push that towards a full Box Bits episode because Cassie's very smart about coming up with good Box Bits topics.
It just fell into our laps, really. Don't give me any credit.
Aw. But yeah, I did have fun with it. This is a show that I really like to keep up with, and I'm so glad amidst everything they were able to get the 3rd season out, and I really hope there's a season 4. And did both of you also watch Agretzko season 3?
Oh, yeah.
I watched it twice. Watched it all within, like, the day it came out. Then the Saturday morning / afternoon after, just wound up, like, doing dishes. And then I saw that Cass was watching it, and she was watching it in dub no less, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and eat some chocolate donuts, and wound up accidentally watching the entire thing with one sitting. So I was like, yeah.
The thing
as it goes
that is interesting about Agretzko is I've only ever watched it in the English dub, because I think I watched it with somebody first, and they just recommended watching it in the English dub, especially for, like, the death metal singing parts. And then I was just like, wow, this is just a really good cast, so I just watched it in English, and then since then I've just been doing so. And this time I was really rewarded because Sunwon Cho did a voice in this season, and I was like, oh my god, he's so talented, and I have such a voice actor crush on him. He's so cool.
Nice.
What a cool guy.
Cool guy. I watched it dubbed as well. And, you know, as per usual, great dub. It is really cool that they're getting more people that are just within the, like, anime manga fandom base to actually, like, take on professional work in anime. It's really fun to see. You love to see it. So I agree that was a really good feature. Yeah. And I don't know if there'll be season 4, but I hope there's a season 4.
I hope so, too.
What did you think about it, Craig?
I think maybe it's just my goldfish memory, but I think that this season has the most to say out of all the seasons. Like, there's definite growth here. There's some there's discussions to be had out of this season. I'm not a fan of a certain character coming out of this season, but I mean, I won't elaborate further. There's an aspect of the season that I really got into. Cass literally said, "Of course you fucking would," and yes.
I'm gonna have to elaborate on that later. That will be fun. That will be fun.
Point.
So yeah, look forward to more. We'll definitely go ahead and talk about Agretzko Season 3 in depth. There is a lot there, but also because the show is so compressed, like, you really need to watch it. All I'll also say is, goddamn, I felt called out within the first, like, 2 minutes of episode 1. Like, just, that hurt all of us.
Also, soft spoiler, I am absolutely... Like, there's a lot of anxiety-inducing moments in Agretzko, and not just in Season 3, but Season 1 and Season 2 as well. I think that one of the things that Agretzko has always done well, and that I champion it for, is the expression of pure, unadulterated anxiety. And there's a scene where she's backing up her car, and she backs it up accidentally into another car. And I'm not going to say what happens or why it happens, but my heart sank into my feet because that is my worst fucking nightmare.
Cassie. There's just so much relatable content. I mean, that's really a thing I come for. I see this cartoon, Red Panda and her other animal friends, and I'm just like, hit me with real life feelings. That's Agretzko.
Who needs escapism when you have Agretzko?
Exactly. All right, Cassie, what's a show you'd like to mention?
I want to mention first the show that I finished literally last night at 12:30 in the morning, and this is an older show. It's called The Tatami Galaxy, and I watched it with Craig and our friend Brendan. Brendan actually recommended it to us, and I know a past patron of ours, Paul, was also a big fan of this show. I've heard people for years telling me, like, hey, this show is so good, you need to watch it. And Cammie a few years ago, or last year, I don't remember, had us sit down and watch The Night of Short Walk On Girl, which is kind of like I don't want to say like a sequel, but it's in the same universe, right. I guess. And I really enjoyed that film. And I was like, man, I really have to have an excuse to watch it. At some point, someday, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do it. It's kind of like, Cowboy Bebop in that way. And that I know I need to watch it. And one day I will. But it might just take somebody sitting me down and going, okay, this is what you're going to do for the next 6 hours. And that's what we did. Last night, we watched almost the entire show in one sitting, and I'm not sure if that's the recommended way to do so. But
wow.
It was, we started episode 3, because we watched the first 2 episodes another night, and we just watched episode 3 through 11 in one sitting, and it was wild. Ooh. Craig, what did you think of Tatami Galaxy?
Hanuki is best girl. I like Akashi. She's also really good. This show, even 8 episodes of binging it, is very fast paced. I think it's even faster than Night is Short in terms of its speed of dialogue.
Yeah.
Because it's all his inner monologue. The main protagonist, the senpai or protag-kun. I like it because it's kind of just a look at like what is college life, and college life can not necessarily be the most rose-colored tinted glasses sort of idealistic, like what you want it to be, and you just kind of like eventually you can kind of be like, okay, this adventure with like this group can lead me to spend a couple of years with them. I don't necessarily know how much you want me to talk about it, Cass, but it's really good.
Well,
the framing device is also really good in it. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I just wanted your general thoughts on it. I think that the thing that Tatami Galaxy excels at, that you were kind of alluding to, is that, and I think that the fact that this is set in a college setting is absolutely fucking fascinating. Because they very easily could have set it in a high school setting, especially because the very basic premise is he joins a club, things happen, he makes bad decisions, time resets, he joins a different club.
Yep.
And that very easily could have taken place in a high school setting. But I think the fact that the show it's definitely adult, and you don't get that with a whole lot of anime to begin with, but the fact that it's addressing the adult rose-tinted glasses that people tend to view the world with. A lot of people say high school is going to be the best years of your life, and then after you graduate high school and you realize they were full of shit, then they say college is going to be the best years of your life. And then it's shit. But basically, he goes in with these ideals, and every single time he fails, he can't do any kind of interpersonal look at what may have failed or what may have gone wrong or why he may have been responsible for the things that went wrong in his life. But by the end, he has a really good realization that it's not about making the best life. It's about the people that are there with you along the way. And you're in control of your own life and decisions. And even if it's not rose-colored, it could still be fun. And I think that that's a really good message, especially for people who are in college. And I could write an entire dissertation on what the fuck Tatami Galaxy is about, so I'm going to probably let Craig take over here soon, but I just wanted to let people know that it is a really good anime. It's worth the hype. I do think that when I first started watching it, I felt very similar to when I watched Kyoso Giga, and that the story was moving a lot faster and hitting me with a lot of information at once, which didn't help because the main character talks at 60 fucking words a second.
Yes.
And that is really intimidating. I'm not gonna lie. I tried to watch Tommy Galaxy a few years ago and I rage quit because I was just so overwhelmed. It has a very high barrier of entry, especially for not native Japanese speakers, because as of this moment, it has no other dub. You have to watch it in Japanese. And the subtitles go as quickly as he talks. So I would say if you're going to check it out, just don't be intimidated. Just keep pushing through. The dialogue is only as fast as it is, mostly at the beginning of the episodes, and then it kind of goes into cruise control at a normal speed once you get into the meat and bones.
What's crazy, too, is they just announced that they're going to dub Night is Short, which is interesting choice. And now I'm like, will we get a Tatami Galaxy dub? I would love the option. But either way, I am very much in a similar vein of just, goddamn, I really need to watch the show. Because, yeah, I have heard good things.
We are all Ozu. That's what I've come to realize.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, it has a very similar feeling and mood as The Night is Short, and I know you love the shit out of that movie. Yeah. And you get more of Akashi, I think her name is, the raven-haired woman. Good. You get more of her, and I'm not entirely sure if they're exactly the same person. I think they are between the movie and the show. Don't quote me on that.
I don't.
Or at least they're similar characters. Yeah. I don't no, I don't think they are the same character, because there is a moment in Tatami Galaxy where they give him the book, The Night is Short, Walk On Girl, and he reads it, and it's meta humor. So,
oh, that's so fun.
So never mind. I'm full of shit. I need to get my notes together before we ever talk about this again. But long story short, Tatami Galaxy is definitely worth the hype. Just, be prepared going in and don't get too shell shocked, and you'll get some good payoff.
Sweet. Oh, yeah, I gotta watch it. Hey, Craig, I have a question for you.
Hi.
Hey, are you ready to go?
'Cause you know the way to go. I believe in my own way. So let's go to the brand new world. So this is, it's something to be said about the nature of Netflix, where they just drop everything like all at once, and I'm able to like binge all of it. I watched this. Oh fuck, I don't even remember. Towards the beginning of July.
Do you want to actually say what it's called?
Oh,
since we just
BNA, yes. Brand new animal, the new Trigger show that was in the spring season, but then just dropped all at once and worldwide on Netflix at the end of June. I watched it like around the first couple weeks of July. I don't think anyone's really watched this outside of Rin. Cass, you watched the first couple episodes literally before.
Cammy watched like all of it, didn't she?
Oh,
I did.
Did you?
Yes.
Cammy?
I watched all of it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. We haven't. I did not actually know that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Well, now we get to talk about it.
Yeah, I was about to say a ton of people have watched BNA. Why the fuck do you think I bothered to go and watch the first 3 episodes today? Because I knew you two guys were going to be talking about Brand New Animal, and I didn't want to be left out. I didn't want to be sitting here going, the woman who praises Trigger every 5 seconds, is not the only person sitting at the fucking Trigger table. Please.
God forbid.
This show's fun. I remember talking to Rin about this. It felt kind of episodic in the first half, and then it kind of like introduces the plot in the back half. Like deals a lot with corporations and all that sort of stuff.
You see, that's weird, because I watched the first 3 episodes today, and I didn't get an episodic feel from it at all.
Fair.
Yeah, because they're setting up like the stuff with the pharmaceutical company. They've set up, what makes the main character very different from everybody else. They set up the world that she lives in, both inside and outside the Anima City. Like, I don't get an episodic feel to it at all. Although, I guess Cammy can also give an input on that. But as of the first 3 episodes, I think they're establishing a through-line narrative.
Yeah.
I feel like they have one. I do think, though, that, like, it's around maybe episode 4 or 5.
Yeah.
There's a baseball episode. And at that point, Get and I are like, this is trying to do plot on one end, and on the other end, it's Michiru's random misadventures because she can't sit fucking still for 2 minutes without getting into trouble.
That was that was the episode where Trigger just was flexing, and they're like, okay, look at our animation.
But I do think one of the biggest things for me with BNA sometimes is that I don't feel like they know if they want to go the route of like kind of more random episodic or focus on big serious plot. Like, it did kind of seem like they were trying to do both at the same time, and so sometimes it came off very polar to me, and I couldn't really get any staying ground. But what I really love about BNA is just the aesthetic of it. Like, the look, the music, the production is great, and it's so fun. And this is like just a show that you can purely watch like just for the look of it. The color palette is gorgeous. It's so pastel-y and really pretty, and the shadows are good. I love Michiru's character design. Like, it's... So yeah, it's fun. To me, I think Cassie even mentioned this on Twitter. You said that most people said it was an okay, like, fun time.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much how I feel about it. Like, I really haven't thought of it much since watching it outside of the opening and ending, which are great.
Cami, did you watch it dubbed? Because Robbie Damon voices the head honcho of the pharmaceutical corp.
That's funny. I watched it subbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact about the sub comment, just to throw this in for Lily, because she's not here. But as I queued up episode 1, and I was like, oh, I love this. I love this opening so much. It's so good. Lily was like, did you know that is sang by the main character of this show? And I was like, oh, and she was like, yeah, Michiru, I think her name is. Sings this, and her voice actor is Ichigo from Aikatsu, and she was super excited about it, and I thought it was really cute, and that's all I got. I just wanted to throw that tidbit in.
Yeah, I remember telling her about that when she did impressions on it way back
in
when.
the impressions, and she lost her fucking mind.
I apparently just forgot all about it because today she told me, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cute." And then I was like, "Does she do the ED too?" And she's like, "I don't know."
The ED is really good. I like the character that they show in that ED. You'll meet her very soon, Cass.
She looks very aesthetically pleasing, and you know what? I'm intrigued to see that whiplash that you guys are talking about, because if they randomly are throwing like baseball episodes and stuff, and I can understand why if you have watched further than the first 3 episodes that you wouldn't think that it's an episodic weird mess. Because I think that the first 3 episodes of the show are super solid. Like, they're not... They're not, like... It's nothing to write home about, but it's interesting, and it's beautiful and aesthetically pleasing, and the sounds are bombastic, and the fight choreography is nuts. There's a scene where Michiru, like, falls off of a building, and her wolfman pal, whose name I forgot, Shiro, I think is his name, like, had to jump and rescue her, and the way they panned everything was like, oh my.
Yeah.
I think I got a case of the vapors. It's so nice to look at.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. I really liked, especially for me, I really loved the first episode. And I don't think that it is bad, but I guess, like, to me, it's not as memorable as something like... Promare or
Little Witch or
Lulu. I'd say Promare or Luluco.
I was about to say I prefer this way more than Little Witch Academia, but that's just
I prefer Little Witch, honestly.
Because if you want to talk episodic and then randomly throwing in a plot out of nowhere and then it falling into the cracks, that's Little Witch Academia to a T. Like,
I feel like BNA does that later on, but not quite as bad.
Yeah, but but again, I've only seen the first 3 episodes, but my biggest problems with Little Witch Academia is that the first, like, episode was good, and then it felt very episodic, and then that was fine, but it was just like a fun little romp, and then they tried to make it into something more than it was within the last few episodes and tell, like, a really grandiose story versus good intentions and bad intentions, and then it just kind of ended. Whereas I think that as of the moment, as someone who's only watched the first 3 episodes of BNA, like, I feel like I know what the story is trying to do right now. Yeah, personally.
And I won't go into it for spoilers, but there is one, like, topic that is touched on in the greater plot in the last half that's, like, actually kind of relevant, I guess, in a way that I was like, damn, I didn't expect we were going to do this with the animals metaphor, but it's cool that they did. So, you know, they did do something that was a little bit different than, like, Beastars and Zootopia, so good on them for that. That's appreciated.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So, but All right, moving back around, let's talk about literally, like, the only show of the season that I was like, I'm gonna give this a watch, that I tried and then dropped like the hot pile of shit it is. That's called Rent a Girlfriend.
You mean you were starting, to get a session started and you just couldn't get off, and then you realized you were in love with somebody else, and then that's how you realize that you were truly madly in love with someone else who isn't your ex-girlfriend, who you were basically having a rape fantasy about in the first place because you're an incel, and you should probably just burn in hell instead of getting to hang out with all these beautiful women that you don't deserve.
The more and more I've heard of this show, the more and more I don't ever want to watch it. Or, like, I see it on my Twitter timeline all the time. And you know what? I've watched harem bullshit where a guy is oblivious as fuck, but man, oh man, this sounds like hot garbage. And I don't know why people keep watching and reading it.
Because it's garbage. You answered your question by asking the question. But yes, Cammy,
the art is also pretty nice. Like, I like the designs of the girls. They make them look pretty. They make them look sexy. It is, like, shiny in places where it needs to be. They do the fan servicey art well. It's fine. And honestly, I think it was someone from Annie Femme, Jose Next Door on Twitter, who said what I just think is so true, is that Chizuru deserves a better anime because she is a great character. She's, like, interesting and fun and spunky, and you really like her, and especially you really like her every time she, like, punches the fucking boyfriend. But she can't escape the constraints that she's in a shitty harem anime with a shitty protagonist, like the shittiest protagonist I've ever seen. And what Cassie mentioned, the fact that this dumbass figures out his feelings during a masturbation montage is when I dropped the show. I said, no. This is it, and I'm done. And I give up. And then apparently right after that, Chizuru also gets sexually molested by his grandmother. So it's just a terrible, terrible family of characters. And the show just it's just bad. It's just really bad. If you want a harem anime, there are plenty of good ones. I never watched it. I'm assuming Saikano How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend is better.
That was great.
I would say I know other people don't agree with this, but I've watched all 3 seasons of The World God Only Knows, and I love The World God Only Knows. Go fucking watch that. Do not watch Rent a Girlfriend.
Honestly, better trash show. Because here's the thing. I think that World God Only Knows is problematic, and it's garbage. But here's the difference, though. Because the beginning of Rent a Girlfriend, you have a shitty main character who, for Lord knows what reason, is now getting himself this nice little harem. He learns nothing. From what I understand, from what you have told me, from what I've read about manga readers and everything else, this guy learns nothing. I believe the character from The World God Only Knows, from what I remember, because I read a shit ton of the manga, he starts to become a better person. Doesn't change the fact that he's still a shitty fucking human being, and there's a lot of problematic things by saying you can win a bunch of girls if you just, check off a couple of boxes. Like, I do not like the, treating women like Pokemon that you can collect. But, again, I think The World God Only Knows does a trashy harem better than Rent a Girlfriend will ever be able to do.
Yeah, and the thing with World God Only Knows is, like, if you watch till the 3rd season, that's when they start being like, hey, what if there actually were consequences for his actions? And then they touch on that, and it gets really good. Like, I know people can't hold out, but Goddess's arc is so fucking good. But yeah, like, just, there's so many better shows that you could watch with your time than Rent a Girlfriend. Please go watch fucking Arrow Manga Sensei instead of Rent a Girlfriend.
That show is such, like, that show is, like, very, 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 very bad in the problematic elements, location on the map, but at least it has more positive messages overall than Rent a Girlfriend ever will. I stopped Rent a Girlfriend at episode 1. And I just want to have a small rant, just a tiny one, because this was Cammy's anime, but I want people to know why I stopped at episode 1. The show is called Rent a Girlfriend. The app he uses is called Rent a Girlfriend. When you sign up for an OnlyFans account and pay a woman $6 to see her titties or whatever, you don't get emotionally attached to that or think she's a bitch because she doesn't return your feelings. The Rent-A-Girlfriend service is very similar, only it's dating. She went on a date with him, and she did what she what was written in the terms of service that he agreed to, and he still was like, oh, what a bitch trying to lead me on. He is the definition of an incel. Like, we jokingly throw that word around all the time. He is one. He is a beautiful definition. I wish they'd print a picture of him and put him in a dictionary somewhere. He is the perfect definition of an incel. He looked at somebody who was doing her job and said, you're doing your job and I hate you for it. That's like getting pissed off at a sex worker or an escort or whatever for not wanting to hold your hand and tell you they love you. For real.
Isn't this fuck also in high or college, right?
Well, yeah, and I think that's one of the appeals of the show is that it's in a college setting. I see why Rent-A-Girlfriend is appealing to people. I totally do. It's just that pissed me off, and I could never get over it. Like, I joked about it with people, but a week later, I was still seething about it. And I was happy with the show because she herself gets up in his face and is like, you signed the terms of service. What do you want from me? I'm a rental. And he still puts her down and treats her like garbage. He's the one in the wrong. He's the problem, and the anime rewards him. And I don't like it. It is giving this message that if you wear women down for a long amount of time, if you throw enough money and affection and unnecessary attention that they don't even want towards them, eventually they will fall into your lap and fall in love with you, and I hate it. 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 That's it. I'm off my soapbox.
I've also heard takes that people hate his ex-girlfriend, because let's be real, she is a sociopath. But at the same time, I'm like, he's such a fucking incel. He's also a cuck because he gets off specifically to the fact that his ex is fucking somebody else. And like, I'm just like, no, do it. Torment him. Fuck you if you hurt Chizuru, but like, no, mess with him all you want. I don't fucking care because he's a piece of shit.
Chew him up and spit him out, baby girl. I didn't even get that far. I think she shows up in like episode 2 and I didn't even get that far.
Yeah, no, she's absolutely like a sociopath. It's honestly kind of interesting.
Is the ex the blonde?
Everyone
fucking hates the blonde. I don't know why.
Yeah,
because she's a sociopath.
And you know what? And that's fine. You want to hate a sociopath? That's fine. You also need to hate the main character for being an incel who treats women like objects.
And doesn't grow, like you said. That's really just the biggest frustration. Like, there's none. Like, he does this thing that's so insufferable where he'll just be like, I don't know, he'll have his weird moment of clarity, big on quote, and he's just like, aw, I'm such a worthless piece of trash. I'm sorry I've been, like, doing this to you. I need to stop. I'm the worst. And you want Chizuru to be like, yeah, but she's like, no, you're really not that bad. And she comforts him, and it's like, no, stop.
Did he have this epiphany after he furiously jerked off?
He's had it. The thing is, he has it multiple times. And, like, literally, he just basically does this pity party. And then Chizuru's like, you're fine. Whatever. You're not that bad. And then, literally, when he's having the jerk-off thing, like, he's imagining fucking his ex-girlfriend. But then it keeps getting interrupted by just Chizuru being like, you're not a bad person. You're okay. Whatever. And then, and he's like, she'd kill me if she found out. But that was when I knew these feelings weren't going. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Everything I know about Rent-A-Girlfriend at this point is through osmosis because I'm still pissed off about the first episode. I think I even made a tweet about it. I was like, my favorite part of Rent-A-Girlfriend is when the incel gets put in his place and it's her punching him in the fucking face.
I was shown the ending, and the ending just solidified the fact that I don't care. I don't like. No, it's gross. Everything about it's gross.
Yeah, just don't watch it. It's dumb. Or if you do, just be aware. Like, the one good thing I can say is Unified going on Mal forums, and everyone's just like, fuck this guy. And I'm like, good, we can unifiably say fuck him and not justify what he does.
Yeah, I mean,
if
you enjoy Rent-A-Girlfriend, there is nothing wrong with you. It just means that you enjoy hot garbage, and that's fine. You can enjoy hot garbage and also acknowledge that the main character is a piece of shit. I know, because Suki does it all the time. She watches Rent-A-Girlfriend Discord weekly and gives me updates, which is great because that means I don't have to watch the show. She just lets me know. I get to learn about the trash without having to waste my time.
Yeah. Alrighty. I think that's good. I think we could do a whole episode on there. But Cassie, I'm just so curious what you're gonna pick from your rainbow wheel of anime choices here. So throw one at us.
I would like to talk about. I already talked about one that I finished, so I'm going to talk about one that I started, and we're going to keep with the trend of anime that totally didn't come out within even the last 5 to 6 years, and that is Mobile Suit Gundam Seed, because Lily begged me to talk about this on this episode. She saw that I was going to talk about it, and when I went to take a bathroom break before we recorded, she's like, make sure you talk a lot about Mobile Suit Gundam Seed. And I said, I'll try. So yeah, it's my first real Gundam, I guess, because I watched Gundam Build Fighters, like, I don't know, like we God, that was a really early episode that we even recorded way back in the day, was Gundam Build Fighters, and I always really enjoyed that. I've never actually sat down and watched a full-on Gundam series, proper. I had watched episodes of Gundam Seed when I was growing up on Toonami, and it was an experience because it was a really bad dub, and I still can remember some of the lines in my deep subconscious. Or watching the show in Japanese, but the Japanese dub is also at times very, very bad, and it's very funny. Mobile Suit Gundam Seed is basically a soap opera in outer space, and it's great. It's so stupid.
That was going to be the question, is how's the melodrama? Because I remember the palpable melodrama to a point where there's recently been a clip of the English dub, and it's just, there's so much looking at each other longingly, and it's just the tension is palpable, and I'm just like, man, early 2000s, am I right?
You know, I think when I was a kid and I watched a few episodes of this on Toonami, and I just somehow, deep in my 13 to 14-year-old brain, I think that's how old I was then, I don't remember, early teenage years, I looked at Atherin Zala and I looked at Kira Yamato, and I was like, wow, the sexual tension between them is so palpable. This is interesting.
Yeah.
And then the Fujo in me was born. But, no, I'm pretty sure that's not what it was, but it was a very funny idea. The show's, it's just fun. It's a fun show. It's really dumb. I think that it doesn't lean a lot into previous Gundam lore, at least where I'm at now. I have not finished the show, but we are about a fourth of the way through at this point. It's just so juicy. It's got so much melodrama. It's so fun. And also, Lily is very into Gundams, and it's very fun to share something that's special with your significant other to a level that you can. I can't go and, buy a Gundam model kit and put it together. I have no interest. I have no capabilities. I'm sure I could if I gave myself some time and watched some YouTube videos. But what I can do is sit down and watch Mobile Suit Gundam Seed with her, and I think that that's worth it, I guess, for her.
That's awesome. Yeah, the Gundams. Do you plan to watch more Gundams after this, potentially? Like, kind of dip your feet in like you've done with some, like, a lot of the Pre-Cures? Do you see that being a thing?
Sea Destiny.
Lily has told me we have to watch Sea Destiny, and I can't tell if she's joking.
Okay.
Like anybody who knows Lily will understand what I said. Like what I said when I say I have no idea if she actually wants to watch Gundam Sea Destiny. Like, I don't know. Sometimes she says that she really wants us to do something, and then later I'm like, okay, let's do the thing, and she's like, I was joking. I didn't mean that. So I don't know. It's a surprise. I will say that in exchange for making me watch Gundam Seed, I'm getting her to watch Chunibyo. So
nice.
It's an uneven trade, but it's fine.
Nice! Oh, I'm excited to hear how that goes.
I don't have a whole lot else to say. It's just if I didn't mention it, Lily would be very upset with me. This is the one thing she wanted, and I'm going to give it to her. I will very briefly comment on the character designs, I really like them. They're very weird, like in different, well, maybe not weird. They're very unique character designs. They're very 2000s, and I enjoy that quite a lot. The music's great. The opening is a bop, but the editor in me gets really frustrated with some of the ways they set up the clips. There's also a girl with her boobies bouncing in outer space for no goddamn reason, and it frustrates me every time I have to see it. And from what I understand, they keep that booby bouncing woman silhouette in like all of the openings, and I'm like, why? Also,
Why not?
The ED, iconic. I thought that I had forgotten it, and then the first episode ended, and I was like, oh my god, this song. I love this song so much. And Cammy, they do that thing sometimes where they lead in from the end of the episode into the ED. But in Gundam Seed's case, it's fucking hilarious.
Good.
Because they do this thing where they almost always have this bit of melodrama at the very end that's so laughable, and then suddenly the ED starts leaking in, and it's just hilarious. I end a lot of episodes of Mobile Suit Gundam Seed laughing my ass off. It's not a bad... well, maybe it is a bad show.
Oh, it's bad.
But I'm having so much fun.
See, and Lily before was like, nobody will enjoy G Gundam. I think you're pretty primed for G Gundam after this, considering how you said this one makes you laugh. That's what I heard G Gundam's good for too. So
maybe, but I don't. But the thing is, I don't think you're supposed to be laughing. I don't think Mobile Suit Gundam Seed actually wants you to laugh when the character just killed a bunch of people and goes into his bedroom and lays on his bed and a single tear leaves his eye and streams into the ED.
Oh, God.
It's
so
funny. Anyway, I won't hold us up because I know we talked a long time on Rent-A-Girlfriend and I want us to have more time for everybody else. But yeah, if you guys have never watched a Gundam show and you're not sure where to start, I would say watch Gundam Build Fighters because it's rad and I love that show and you need absolutely no previous Gundam experience to watch it. But the same could be said, I think, of Mobile Suit Gundam Seed because as of now, a fourth of the way through, I have not felt lost. I think that they make the reason why these opposite factions are fighting in outer space and the world building is done to an extent that I'm not going, what? Lily, explain it to me. I don't understand.
It's not Game of Thrones level of politics.
It just ain't that deep, guys. At least in the case of Mobile Suit Gundam Seed. So yeah, totally give it a shot if you have like 40 episodes worth of time to burn. And I know you guys do because we're all stuck in quarantine and you want to watch a Gundam show. Those two criteria, that's all you need.
Perfect. All right, Craig, what do you have next on the docket for us?
Speaking of being locked in quarantine and having a bunch of fucking time to watch a bunch of episodes, hey, I don't know what sick part of my brain decided to go with this thought experiment, but May of this year, I watched the entirety of Black Clover 133 episodes by the time that the show hit hiatus.
Craig.
Yes.
You're fucking insane. I can't believe you watched all of Black Clover one day on a whim.
I don't know, man. Zach just showed me openings and they were bangers and I'm like, am I gonna do this? And then I just loaded up Funimation and just let it play. And I'm like, holy shit. It also helped that a lot of the arcs, at least before it gets to the real heavy stuff in the like late 60s or whatever, the arcs are like maybe 10 to 20 episodes a pop. So you can kind of like get in and get out and kind of like pace yourself with it. But the thing... And we did impressions for this way back when, in October 2017, and I think either me or John that basically said, "Yo, this is shonen trash for the sake of shonen trap. It's like jack of all trades, master of none. It literally has like all the blended bullshit elements of like a Naruto, a Bleach, or fairy tales, all distilled into one." And I don't know if I was really in the mindset or the mood to kind of like keep up with that weekly. Flash forward 133 episodes later, 3 years, I binge all of it. Is it good? No. But yes. Yes, it is. I will say, I like the English dub a lot more than the Japanese. Asta is not nearly as insufferable.
I hear he still screams.
Oh, he screams.
All the time.
He screams, but it's a lot more tolerable to hear. The thing that powers this show is this show really just says, yo, fuck classism. You like the nobility, the rich, fuck it.
Eat the rich. Eat the rich.
Anyone can basically be someone in this world. And this is like the stupid Narutoism where it's just like, I'm gonna be the Hokage even though I suck at like my fucking ninja skills. The main character in this, As, is like, I don't have any superpowers. I'm just fucking shredded. And I hold the giant, like, Buster Sword, so I'm going to basically beat the shit out of you with my sword. And I'm like, alright, I can get into this. This underdog story bullshit. I ate this up. Since coming back from the hiatus due to the pandemic, it has since gone into filler. So that's great. So I've started reading the comic book. And, I can't stop. I have a problem. Guys,
Craig,
do not send help.
I have a question because
Yes.
I was going to ask if you've read the manga.
Yes.
I don't know why I asked you that question because I know the answer to that question because I've walked into your room randomly and you look up at me from your iPad like I just interrupted the most important time of your life and I'm like, what do you want dinner? And you're like, I'm reading Black Clover.
I'm reading the Black Clover.
But I have a question, and it's very important to me.
Okay.
And I've always wanted to ask.
Yes.
In the manga.
Yes.
Is all of Asta's dialogue in caps?
Even I mean, technically, a lot of... Actually, I can verify that right now for you if you want, but...
It was supposed to be a joke.
It's a joke!
I know!
You were supposed to laugh!
Yes, Cass. Asta's always in caps, always screaming. He does everything 150%.
I hate this. I hate that. I remember watching the first episode on a whim because someone told me that it was insufferable to listen to, and I was like, it cannot be that bad.
Again, watch it in English. It's actually a lot better. Even Zach went back and said, yeah, this kid's got it. I'm like, yeah, he's got it.
I didn't like the story, though, or the animation. I remember there was a lot of CGI magic.
Yeah, so it's weird, right? Because, like, the first mage that he fights is the guy with chains. They CG the chains, but, like, after that, he doesn't really... There is, like, hardly any CG. It gets really cool, like, the way that, like, his... battles go on as the story progresses. Does he have like a Naruto-esque Nine-Tails transformation sequence? Yes, he does. It's also really cool.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you found a nice shonen trash fire.
At least,
yes.
Because when you can find a nice shonen trash fire, it will keep you warm through the winter. So
I will say
poetic.
that the show is just like, it does have its own problems, and I look at them and I raise an eyebrow and I don't like them. Also, I just, with the sheer power, motivation, and my nakama, I will convince Noel's older brother, who is a rich fucking captain of the Gote 13, I mean the fucking, like, Clover Kingdom squad captains, that even though I'm a commoner, I can be on the same level as you, noble rich person. It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. I mean, all I'm really going to say about Black Clover is that the opening, Black Rover, is like one of the boppiest songs to ever bop, and I love the shit out of it.
It's so good. Cammy, I think your fiance would definitely vibe with this show.
I'll let him know.
I mean, he's watched One Piece. Why not?
He's read One Piece.
Oh, okay. For whatever reason, I thought he watched.
There is a big difference between watching One Piece and reading One Piece, from what I understand.
Yeah. But he does like the shonens. So maybe down the line, right now, he is really vibing with another show that you will talk about later. So we will get to that. I'm gonna talk about. You know what? Why the fuck not? I'm gonna post a picture in our chat. But I slowly, just like since maybe last summer, have been like, you know that show that's not Hamtaro, but it has a hamster and it's like really fucking lewd? Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch motherfucking Ebichu, the housekeeping hamster. And it's a like show of shorts from 1999 about a like 30 something year old woman and her pet hamster, who is voiced by the legendary icon whose name I am forgetting, but it's the voice actress who plays Usagi, Sailor Moon, and Misato Katsuragi. She is incredible. And honestly, like, this show is just such a goddamn treat because the way she voices Ebichu, the hamster, is hilarious. And the shit that comes out of her mouth, like the screen cap I just posted in our chat, is very funny. This show is basically Shin-chan, but like for adults. It's just very like raunchy, and the animation is very simple and like chibi-fied, and it's pointless shorts that don't really go anywhere. But it's funny. If you like raunchy, like terrible, degenerate raunch humor, and specifically being spoken by a hamster that sounds like Sailor Moon, it's funny. I know people that like it. So it was fun in like the worst possible way.
Nice.
The amount of times that I heard the word pussy in Japanese is insurmountable now, thanks to this show.
Not like Manko or something. I don't remember.
Manko, yes, it's Manko. I know that forever now.
Manko.
Yeah, there's literally a clip where she says that. Yeah, because she was like giving this guy a riddle, and then she's like, "The answer is Manko. It's Manko, and it just doesn't fucking stop. And there are so many puns, and actually the localization team who subbed it did a great job, because they'll let you know about puns beforehand. Like there's this part where she is talking about getting shabu shabu, the kind of meat where you like dip it in sauce and then barbecue it, whatever. And she's just like, oh, what was that stuff we got? Was it this? She keeps saying these automatopoeias that are two terms, like shabu shabu, but they all mean like lick lick, suck suck, squish squish, all this sexual shit. And then the couple's like, you mean shabu shabu? So
that's good.
It's ridiculous.
Really
but there's a lot of memes from Ebichu at least too, so now I know all those. Like, you've probably seen when she's singing and it says "Baby, you are my," and then it shows a picture of an anime character and she says "Angel!" That is from Ebichu. I have a lot of Ebichu reaction images, so that was a show. I don't really know why I watched it, but I watched it, and if you really just have nothing better to do with your time, watch it. I will say, as a person who's sensitive to animal abuse, I was able to be okay with it, but, like, this hamster gets the shit beaten out of her on the daily, so if that makes you uncomfortable, you're really not gonna like this show. Because they just punch, you'll see, like, punching sound effects and shit, and then she's laying in a pool of her own blood, so, like, yeah, if that makes you uncomfortable, don't watch it. There's just a laundry list of uncomfortable things, but it was kind of funny, so I watched that, and now we can move on to bigger and better things.
Before
Cassie,
we
would
do,
you like to...
the voice actress you were trying to think of is Kotono Mitsuishi.
Thank you.
Because
bless your heart.
I couldn't remember her name either, and I wanted to look it up, so that's what I did while we were talking about Manko. Anyway.
Manko.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Eeny, meeny, miny, Precure. Let's talk about Precure, because we can all talk about Precure, and I also want to plug the fact that you can legally watch Precure right now, and I need you to right now go and get on Crunchyroll and look up either Kira Kira Precure a la mode or Healing Good Precure.
Speaking of Usagi Zahami, I see that you wrote Sweet Precure down. She's a mascot in Sweet Precure. I just want to say that.
Okay, fuck you both with the ASMR. This is not okay. I'm watching Precure already. Stop tempting me.
I'm talking about everybody else who's listening. I did put Sweet Precure down because I am currently watching that through other means that are not legal. But Kira Kira Precure a la mode and Healing Good Precure, I am watching both at the same time right now on Crunchyroll. Me and Lily are watching it. We watched an episode Healing Good this morning. And I just wanted to have a spot where each of us could talk about one, two, or all three. I think we should probably start with Kira Kira Precure a la mode because I think that's the one that all of us have either watched all of or at least dabbled in, because Craig's watched all of
everything.
All of everything.
All the Precure.
Are you caught up on Healing Good?
3 episodes behind. I watched 4 episodes today.
Well, there we go.
I've been introduced to Cure Earth.
Okay, cool. So I guess we can talk about Kira Kira Precure a la mode. It is not the current airing Precure. That's Healing Good, which we can touch on very briefly. But it is basically a sweets-themed Precure. All of the Precure magical girls in the show are able to transform into animal-like magical girls who have a sweets theme. So there's like a pudding and a strawberry shortcake and chocolate and macaron and so on and so forth. Like they all have that kind of really cool sweets theme. And I know that for Cammie that was a bit of a throwback. So I want to hear your opinions on Kira Kira Precure a la mode.
Hell yeah. So just as Cassie mentioned, the fact that it is centered around sweets and they have the animal tie-in with their transformations immediately reminded me of Tokyo Mew Mew, which is one of my favorite older magical girls series. So like right from the outset, just like from a pure aesthetic standpoint, I was just like, oh, this makes me the happy. This gives me like the dokies and the good like 12-year-old vibes. I am vibing with this. And it's a fun little show. I'm enjoying it. I'm on episode 10, and I really just forget how easy Precure is to binge when you have access to it. It's really just normally it is, to me, it's such a pain to have to go get it and then put the files, it's just a pain. Having it available to watch legally and just binge and just autoplay the next episode is so convenient and makes the show really, really, enjoyable. I usually watch it when I'm getting ready for work or something, and it's just a good start to my day. All the girls are pretty fun and interesting. I think Cassie and I talked about the weakness majorly being the villains at this point, and I guess maybe I notice it more because my first Precure show was Hugto, and I thought the villains in that actually were, pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's for me, I don't think it's as maybe original per se as Hugto, and from what I've seen of Heartcatch Precure, which I need to watch more of, but I've seen about half of that series. But it's fun. It's fun and it's feel good, and I'm enjoying watching it. I just watched episode 10 and told Cassie that's probably my favorite episode so far. Because we got some good lesbians. Yeah.
Lesbians, some good lesbians. I don't have a whole lot else to say about Kira Kira Precure a la mode either, because it's one of those precures that I started and did not finish because there's just so much stuff I'm watching as is, and I'm also juggling 6 fucking precures at once, and you should never do that. Don't do that. Just pick one and stick with it. God. I'm bringing up 3 I'm watching at the same time right now. It's a terrible idea, but also great. You do what you want to do. But yeah, Kira Kira Precure a la mode is, like Cammie said, it's a very fun, it's beautiful, it's aesthetically pleasing. I really love the transformation sequences. Every Precure transformation sequence I have ever seen is done with beautiful care. I have never seen one that I don't like. They're all unique. They're all different from one another while still following the same aesthetic and theme. It's just chef's kiss. Also, every single Precure ED I have ever heard, save one, I have instantly been in love with. And Kira Kira Precure a la mode, Healing Good, and one of Sweets I think are all great. And Kira Kira Precure a la mode second ED is probably one of my favorite ones in the entire series. But I have not finished it, so I cannot say if it gets any better, but I do think its weakest point is its villains and introduction of the evil that the girls are fighting. But other than that, it's a fun romp. It's a good palate cleanser for the state of the world.
Hell yeah, seriously.
I would say also another drawback of Kira Kira is the fact that there's no punching It's all
Right.
magic wands and blasting. And as someone who's finished this show with Suki, friend of the podcast, I'm biased against this show. I love this show despite itself. I love the character, as to kind of reiterate what you guys are saying, like the character designs. The girls are good. The action is the villains but damn it if those girls ain't good.
They're all very cute and fun. And honestly, like, I have nothing against beam spam. I am quite accustomed to it in magical girl shows. Most of the ones I grew up with either had beam spam or had a girl summoning some cards to fight for her. So, like, I get having a proxy fight for you, but there is something inherently powerful about a female character punching a monster in the face.
Yeah.
It gives me a shot of serotonin to my brain that I didn't know was possible. Mm-hmm. So I do prefer, for example, Healing Good, or Hugto especially, or Go Princess, or one of the more hand-to-hand combat / beam spam shows that Precure has to offer. But it's not a turn-off to me, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I get you.
I don't know how Cammy feels about that, but...
I mean, I'd say the same. Like, it's kind of it's like, oh, darn it, you know, it'd be even better if there were punching, but, like, that's not going to make me, like, drop the show or anything.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I want to very quickly give a shout out to Sweet Precure. It is the first Precure I have ever watched where I feel absolutely, really nothing great is on the plate. It's just really average food, but, like, I feel like Sweet Precure is like the Panda Express of Precure shows. Like, it's just it's okay. Some episodes make your tummy hurt and, like, you wasted your time and maybe you shouldn't have spent $6. And then some episodes you're like, wow, they put more beef in my beef and broccoli than they normally do. And it was really nice. And I had a very nice meal.
You mean,
and then you realize, regardless, you're eating second-rate fast food, so you shouldn't complain. That's Sweet Precure.
Damn. That Cure Beat, though, man. Cure Beat.
Cure Beat is okay, but one character can't carry an entire show. I say, as later I will talk about Tower of God. But anyway.
I get that. I guess I like Hummy and the fairy tones. I think they cute as fuck, but I can definitely see, like, your qualms with it.
Yeah, and we can maybe talk about that at another time, but it's okay. It is the most okay Precure I have seen. Now, and I'm watching it. Now let's talk about Healing Good, which is also okay.
This is my okay.
But I actually think I kind of like it more than Sweet now. But I will talk about that in a minute. What do you guys think of Healing Good Precure? Very quickly, because we are at the hour mark, and we still have a bunch to talk about.
Very okay, very boring. Pegaton is the best thing about the entire show.
I watched the first 3 episodes and then tried to pick it back up again, but I'll be honest, I was bored out of my mind, so I dropped it.
I think Sweet's better than this.
I think that I liked Sweet better until episode... Oh god, what one did I watch this morning? I think it was... I'm going to be awkward and click around.
Is it the episode where they get their team attack?
No, it's the episode... Okay, so here's the thing. I think that the setup for Healing Good Precure is a bit boring, and compared to...
It's apt nowadays in COVID.
Exactly, but I think that in comparison to other shows, it is very by the books. I think that there's nothing in particular that I found great about it outside of the fairies, basically. I really like Pegaton, and I think that I think there's some really nice messages in the beginning, but for the most part, for me, it was by the books. However, there was an episode that I watched this morning, and I looked at Lily, and I was like, holy crap, we finally have one good episode of Healing Good Precure. Because it's basically all centered around Hinata, who's the Yellow Cure, and her struggles with social interaction, and that she really wants to help her friends, but she really puts herself a little far out there and tries to request things and to do things for her friends and others without really considering what they think and feel, and therefore it blows up in her face or her friend's face, and she struggles with that, and it's manifested into the monster fight that happens in that episode. And I was like, oh, finally, something of substance. Because they allude to this or in a couple episodes earlier, but I also think it was very sloppily done, or okay at best. But it really got to the heart of her insecurities as a person. And I think up until that episode, I just kind of saw each of the girls as more character cutouts to sell toys than I have ever felt with any other Precure series.
Yeah.
And finally, I feel like we're getting some character development. And we're finally getting some, because, okay, this is a soft spoiler, but the main character has always been sick. So every single picture she has in her room, because she was in the hospital all of her life and had no friends, was of her family. And Hinata basically goes through this whole effort just so she can get a nice picture for her friend to show that she's in the next chapter of her life. And that is fucking deep for a kid show. Like, but in the act of wanting to do something really good, she pushes everybody else to an extent that they may not have initially been comfortable with going and trying on pretty dresses and being in a crowded place and taking pictures in front of a bunch of people. Like, she had a good intention, but it took her stepping back and looking what everybody else wanted and needed for her to actually be able to give her friend what she really needed. And I was like, this is good. This is good storytelling. Why couldn't the whole show be like this up to this point? Also, I think the villains in this are better than in Kira Kira Precure a la Mode.
I will give you that.
So
Wait. Yeah, you'll have to get further, because I want to know your take on a certain villain that will show up.
But yeah, I promised I wouldn't talk about Healing Good for too long, but I think also the first ED is one of my favorite EDs in the entire franchise. It's very good.
It's really nice. I remember when you showed that to me.
I watch it every day.
Good shit.
Every day. But yeah, I still don't think Healing Good is a great Precure show, but I think it has potential, and I'm going to keep watching it, if only to give it the view so hopefully we get more Precure licensed and carried over to Crunchyroll, because that's my end goal, so I can finally start pushing the Star Twinkle game with everybody who hasn't already finished it.
Hard catch Precure, please.
Yeah, alright, we can move on from the Precure show.
Craig, what you
held this
got?
up for a while.
Okay. For me then, real quick. Food Wars Season 5. Just want to touch base on more shonen garbage. This one's with food. So they're in another tournament. It's the Blue tournament. Basically, our main protagonists, there's been a time jump, and basically they are fighting the underground chef association called Noir, and basically they are having to stop this guy named Saiba Asahi from basically being the ultimate chef and basically marrying the main girl, Ariana Nakiri, because going back to Rent a Girlfriend, he is kind of a dirtbag and kind of skeezy because he says, I want her because she has a superpower called the God's Tongue, and the Food Wars world, the God Tongue basically makes it so she's like the ultimate judge of flavor and test and food palate taste and whatnot. And he's like, I want her. And then someone's like, nah, dog, you ain't gonna have her because she's her own person. So, tournament arc! It continues to be fun, but also kind of problematic in its sense of just like, everything's kind of just lewd, but everyone's hot when they eat the food, and they all have food orgasms. So, continue to watch Food Wars if you want. This is the adaptation of the last arc in the manga, which everyone fucking hated. But I'm still here because I'm a masochist and I have nothing else to do.
Okay, so it is the final season then? That was the one thing I was going to ask.
Yeah, basically, it's the final season.
Okay. Damn, 5 seasons. Food Wars lasted a long time.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
Yeah. More on your shonen, your good shonen shit.
Okay.
Good to know. Good to know. You'll finish it just in time to start Stone Wars Part 2. Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone!
Dr. Stone?
Yes. Dr. Stone! All right. Speaking of long-running fucking shows, I will be as quick about this as possible. Y'all, I fucking love Lupin the Third. After we watched Lupin, the Woman Called Fujiko Mine, I fell in love with the cast, and then I was like, Zach, Craig, what do I watch next? And they were like, you can watch Part 4 and Part 5, which are more recent additions to the franchise that came out in like 2015 and I think 2018, respectively. And it's fun. They are definitely goofier goofier parts than Fujiko Mine, but they're lighthearted. And you know what? I think one reason that I love watching Lupin so much right now is it's a cast of adults just like fucking living their best lives. Like these are like 30-something, potentially 40-something-year-old adults just fucking around and drinking and betting and stealing and, like, joking around. It's just so fun. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm old. Y'all are old, but you're not letting that, like, stop you from living your lives. And all of the characters in the cast are just so charming. I love literally all of them. I want to marry Goemon specifically. But yeah, they're all good. Moemon. They are all so good. Part 4 took place in Italy, and Part 5 is taking place in France. I finished Part 4. I am almost done with Part 5, and then I've got to watch a bunch of movies, including The Castle of Cagliostro, the Miyazaki film. Yeah, fucking watch Lupin the Third, y'all. It's good. Just watch some of it. Part 4 and Part 5. Mwah. Good shit. Good shit.
I can't wait for you to watch Castle Cagliostro because I've been watching all of the Miyazaki verse since getting HBO Max, and while Castle is on Netflix, it's still really, really good.
Nice. The one other thing I'll actually say, so I turned on The Great Pretender on Netflix, and I was like, this looks fucking good, and I've heard great things about it. But then the like jazzy opening started, and I was like,
"You just missed Lupin."
Nah, I'm still in my Lupin fix.
Get
and
on
Great
Lupin's
Pretender
level.
No, I don't even.
Oh.
I'm sure it's great, but I'm just like right now I'm getting my crime, jazzy, silly shenanigans fix from Lupin. And when I take a break from Lupin and I want that sort of thing, I will go back to Great Pretender because I've heard nothing but good things. But right now, it's just not the time. So, yes.
Valid.
Yes. Off we go, Miss Cassie. What do you have to talk about?
I am going to mention 3 shows at once. The first
Bam!
2, because I'm the only one who watched them, and there's no point in me sitting here and talking about them for 40 minutes. One is Magia Record, Puella Magia Madoka Magica Side Story. It's boring. That's it.
Oh, no.
That's all I got.
But you watched it anyway.
I watched all of it for a couple of reasons. One, Madoka Magica is the original series, this series, the movie, everything, and I have varying feelings on all of them. But every Madoka Magica property I have ever touched, and at this point I've touched all of them, they are always beautiful and great editing fodder, and I'm an AMV editor, and I don't edit with things that I have not watched most of the time. It is something that I almost never do. So if I was going to edit with this source, I needed to watch this source. Also, I'm a Madoka slut, and if they keep giving me things, I'll keep consuming them. Please, shove more down my throat, mommy. I need more. I never stop.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first.
Anyway, but yeah, it's boring. It's really not worth your time. It's based off of a mobile game that at this point is no longer going to be available in the United States for you to even play.
Right.
If it gets a season 2, it might be more worth it, but it poses more questions than it answers, and it jumps from arc to arc in a 12-episode span, and I got so much whiplash, and it made no sense, and I just...
Oh.
The ED is fire, though. If you would like to experience something nice from this show, I would recommend looking up the ED. It is great. I loved it. I think it is wonderful, and it is also Claris, if I remember correctly, and I love Claris. I told Lily that the ED was done by Claris, and she was just like, "Oh my god, was the opening done by Calfina?" And I was like, "No," and she's like, "Missed opportunity."
That is a missed opportunity.
But yeah, it's boring. But if you like Madoka, why not? Why not? Anyway, moving on. Gleipnir. It's weird. I had so much fun. That's it.
Nice.
Like it's animated too well for its own good.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's very well done. There's some great fight choreography. There are some scenes in the show that have no reason to be as well animated as it should be, but it is gross. It is vile and nasty. There is a lot of questionable motives explored in this particular series. One moment that almost made me drop the show entirely was they did have a canonically lesbian character. And they did that fine. Like, it was great. I actually really appreciated her spot among the cast. However, they decided to, towards the end of the show, have her grabbed and fondled by a man against her will. And I felt very sick because I normally would have felt sick. But why did you have to pick that particular character? I don't understand. There was no reason for that. Also, groping women without their permission in anime, even if it is by a psychotic, crazy person, is always going to make me feel squeamish. It is a trigger that I do not handle well. That's about it. That's all I really have to say about Gleipnir. It's very problematic. It's gross. It's vile. It is a terrible piece of media, and I love it so very much. And I really hope more people will watch it. Okay, cool. That's my lightning round. And then I wanted to talk about Tower of God also very quickly because I feel like I'm the only person who actually legitimately loves the shit out of the show. I think plenty of people like it, which is fine. I love Tower of God, and I really want it to get a second season. It has next to no substance, and it's very much a generic trash fire that's going to keep me warm through the winter.
Yeah!
Much like Craig's Black Clover. But I think it's better animated than Black Clover. And I think also...
I mean, I'll give you that. TMS versus Perot is... Yeah. TMS
I feel like the main character is lactose and basically the equivalent of a piece of stale bread that has been dropped behind the counter and you forgot about it for several months and then you pull it out a little while later and you're like, wow, somehow I dropped this behind my counter for the equivalent of 12 episodes and it still has not gained any kind of lint or traction or anything to make it interesting.
Do you think he'll get a backbone or a personality in season 2?
I was getting to that. I think that Baum's character is the way that he is purposely. I think that making him a blank slate with only one goal in mind and then having that goal blow up in his face is going to have him actually look at his own identity and hopefully forge one. I think that it's purposeful, and I could just be 10 feet up my own ass, but that's how I feel.
Or what if he goes into his goal harder, Cass?
I don't know. I haven't read the source material. I tried. I can't stand it. Mostly because the art is not great, but that's me just being shallow, I believe. I'm being very shallow. I hear that, the arc gets better and the story is great, but, that's later. Anyway, I love Kun, and he is the reason why I love Tower of God, and I will die for him, and he's the best, and he's great, and I love him, and he's basically just a Killua reskin, and I don't care.
Yeah, you were talking about how blah Bomb is, and I was just gonna be like, well, good thing his boyfriend fucking rocks.
Yeah, great. I told Craig earlier when he was talking about Cure Beat and Sweet Precure that one character cannot carry an entire show, and that's because Tower of God is carried by two characters, and that is Kun and Rock. And they are great, and they have a lot of screen time. I think a lot of the other characters have also a lot of premise and a lot of potential.
Dorsey, my girl.
Craig's favorite character in Dorsey. I think that they've set up a lot of intrigue for both her and
Anak.
I think that we'll probably explore some of the other characters more. It's just that they didn't have enough time to really... Honestly, the first 12 episodes just felt like a prologue
It really
a really
does.
long prologue, and it's fine because I've watched that prologue twice, and I'm probably gonna watch it again. And I'm shonen garbage, and that's just how I'm going to. That's how I'm gonna survive. That's how I'm gonna survive COVID. I'm just gonna watch Tower of God over and over and over again until I die. Anyway, let's move on. We have more anime to talk about.
Real quick, just to confirm Maggia shit. Yes, the ending is Claris. Yes, there is a second season in development.
I know it was Claris. Yeah. But I will probably watch the second season because, again, I'm garbage. Also, the first season ended on a cliffhanger, and I would have been really, really, really annoyed if they didn't continue it. But, that's just anime. That's how it goes.
Ooh.
Craig, what do you want to talk about?
God of High School, baby. This is Crunchy, air quotes, original. They basically gave Mappa a shit ton of money, and this show is more shonen junk food. This is based on a Korean webcomic, much akin to Tower of God, keeping up with that train. This show, very simple. It's a tournament arc. But you know what? At the same time, it gives me weird JoJo vibes the further I go into it, and I'm really looking forward to it. The choreography is on point. The score is cool. It's unabashedly just sponsored by Webtoons and Crunchyroll on the arena. And I love me a dumb boy. I love me a dumb shonen boy. Jin Mori, fucking chef's kiss. He just wants to fight strong opponents. And you have a badass girl, Yu Mira, basically with like her swordsmanship. And she's just basically, like, being a badass female, and there's other badass females that, like, have different martial arts styles. It's really cool. I can totally see why other people wouldn't really be into it, because it's basically is what it is. They enter a tournament to get a wish, and ta-da, you fight to try and be the god of high school. And there's a shadowy organization and behind it all, and the shit will unfold as it goes along. Fucking the opening is fire, even though it is completely dubstep.
I hate it. I fucking hate it. I want to like it so much because before you get to the dubstep, I'm like, I'm vibing. I'm vibing. And then it drops, and I'm like, I can't listen to this anymore because I hate dubstep.
Okay, high key, we just have been unpacking our new apartment, and we just set up our new 4K TV last night. Ooh. and then get turned on God of High School, and that opening played, and I was just like, holy fucking shit, man, am I on drugs? It was so
good,
fantastic. Just all the colors were fucking insane. I could read all of the text. It was a fucking adventure, fam.
Maybe I'll watch it high and I'll like it better.
Yeah, just watch I don't think you have to watch the show, but watch the opening high. I think that would be fun. I think that'd be really fun.
To that credit, the director is actually going to helm another anime in the fall, Jujutsu Kaisen, which is also produced by Mappa. So I'm now just basically, Zach showed me the trailer of this one, so I'm like, all right, this looks rad. It's also based around demons and martial arts, so give me more junk food, please. Yes. I don't think, Cammy, you've watched some of this, right? You're not keeping up with it?
I watched one episode. Get asked me to watch it. He really likes it, and I totally get exactly why he likes it. It's basically the same reasons you do. Fight choreography means a shit ton to him, and he does enjoy shonen stuff. So he's not like, oh my god, it's doing something original, but it's his brand. He really likes it a lot. And so I watched the first episode, and I was like, yeah, this isn't really for me. Except when he has it on, sometimes I'll glance up at it and look at things. And I think my favorite thing about this show, how many shows have been suffering from budgetary restraints and all the stress due to COVID. So a lot of the production values are struggling, understandably. This show's fucking gorgeous. What the fuck? I was watching the fight scene between Mori, Jin, and I really don't think this is a spoiler, and the other boy, his friend, Han Dawe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just
Episode
goes
5,
into
man.
like fucking weird like ink blot sketchy shit. And I'm just
fluid.
like, what the fuck? It's so good.
If there's 2 episodes, and I was talking to Rin about this because she's also watching. If there's 2 episodes that would convince anyone to watch this show, it's episodes 4 and 5, just alone. Because episode 4 is based around Mira, the female lead. And then episode 5, just the way that they shoot and like frame the shot of their Jin and Handawei's fight is chef's kiss, man.
Insane Sakuga. It's basically the fat Sakuga show this series, and that in itself is appreciated. But yeah, not genuinely my thing, but I know a lot of people that like it, and I can see why people like it. I just wish that their faces, like their noses weren't all red. I don't know why they do that.
That's also in the source from what I've asked a coworker of mine. That's in the comic too. So
yeah,
it's an art style choice, and that's okay. I just think they should wear some fucking sunscreen. That's all I ask.
They should wear sunscreen. They should wear scarves if they have a cold. Who the fuck knows what they're suffering from with those red noses?
Oh my god. Wait a minute. I got it. God of High School is the post-coronavirus world where everybody's been exposed to the coronavirus, and that is a lasting impact of the coronavirus after 2 years.
No! Jesus Christ. I've been trying to avoid, like, catastrophe. Craig's gif. I've been trying to avoid catastrophe shows. This is why I didn't watch Japan 6 2020. Now I can't even watch glance at God of High School anymore. Thank you, Cassie.
You're welcome.
I mean, they have nanomachines that basically are able to, like heal them instantaneously. If we lived in a world with nanomachines that could fight viruses, sign me up, motherfucker.
Damn. All right. That was fun. That was fun. Good shit. I'm glad that you are liking that show a lot. I really don't have a lot more left here of substance, folks, but I watched a hentai recommended by Transformation Sequence.
Okay. Go on.
Yeah, so basically you should go and listen to their most recent episode. It's phenomenal. They are a phenomenal podcast, and I'm mostly going to regurgitate
what the genres?
What Vincent said.
What are we working with?
I mean, it's a yaoi hentai, and it is a boy who's like a basketball player, and he gets isekai'd into another world of giants. And they say like giants, they say titans, but they're not like Attack on Titan huge. They're just a little bigger. It's like everybody is Bara, basically. Just think of it that way.
Is this your Kuroko no Basuke like fever dream come to life with yaoi?
Oh my god. No, no.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
It's a fucking hentai. It's like they're like 5-minute long episodes, but it's actually like for the premise, which is boy gets isekai'd into a world of titans, and the Titan prince is like, hey, have my baby. You know, you'd think it could get really, really dark, but it's not. It's really fucking cute and vanilla, and I like it a lot. There is in the second episode immediately when the boy is like, oh no, he's touching me, I'm about to get raped. And then the prince guy just looks back and he's like, oh shoot, I'm sorry, throws the blanket on him. I didn't even like ask you how you felt. Okay, I won't touch you. All I ask is for like a month for you to stay with me and see if I can like, you know, get your love, and if I can, I'll send you home. And then of course, like 2 episodes later, they fall in love, but it's like all consensual and good shit. And he, like, even after he's like, I love you, like almost every time he's like, are you sure you want this? Like, do you want this? Can I touch you? And I'm like, oh, that's so fucking sweet and good. And I could go into more graphic detail, but I don't see the need to. This show is super pure. It's not like the best budget, but it's also definitely not the worst thing I've seen. And the world building's like super cute. And the only episode that you skip is episode 6 because it's got some furry rape in it. But other than that, that
escalated quickly.
Yeah, no, they just do the stupid yaoi bullshit where it's like, oh no, I'm kidnapped. Oh no, but then it's all fine. It was really cute, and it had terrible subs because it was a hentai, but it was fun, and I liked it. And I don't like a lot of hentai. I'm very picky. You need to make it like vanilla as fuck, and this show did it. So congratulations to the Titan's Bride. Was very good. It was cute.
So it's cute, and vanilla as fuck. So was it animated well? Was it hot?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't the best, but it was pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, it was good in the voice acting, I'll say that. That's all I'll say.
And that's where it matters.
It is though. Oh, and God, they use the wonderful trope of like, oh no, it had this forbidden fruit that I consumed and it's making me like have a fever, which also means I'm endlessly horny. I'm just like, good shit. Anyway.
That sounds like me after I eat like literally anything. I'm just hungry all the time.
Oh, I thought you were endlessly horny.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, are you horny all the time?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Damn.
Oh God, your wife is so treated. Anyway. To just go off of that, Cassie, what else do you have in your list? Do you want to do another lightning round?
I'm going to do another lightning round because I have more than everybody else because I watch too much anime. Kakushigoto is great. It is still one of the best anime of the year, in my opinion. I think that the last episode or so is rushed and unfortunate and leaves a bad taste in your mouth after an otherwise beautiful dinner. Like, they gave you, like, a steak and a nice salad with a beautiful, like, raspberry vinaigrette dressing, and, like, everything has been so great and wonderful, and you're just so happy, and then they bring out dessert, and it's, like, a burnt cookie that they didn't have time to actually finish cooking, because they threw it all in at the end, and it was just like, how do I write a Yelp review? Because the steak was great, but the cookie tasted like ass. Like, what's the most important part? The steak.
4 stars.
Yeah. It's a good show. The best part about Kakushigoto is the antics between the father and the daughter, and oftentimes the antics of him at work, because the whole premise is a guy is a manga artist and he wants to hide it from his daughter because he doesn't want her to have a hard life because he's a manga artist, and he does like lewd, not like sexy lewd, but like raunchy humor manga. And the whole series about him hiding that, but also them becoming closer as a family in the absence of his wife or significant other who has, for reasons that I don't still completely understand, is out of the picture. But yeah, it's good. It's wholesome. It gave me a lot of like soft feelings that Usagi Drop did before I found out the manga existed.
Yeah.
We don't talk. There is no manga. Cass, it's an anime original by Brainspace.
But yeah, it's very fun. It's also written by the guy who did Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, which I really did not like that show, but I think I might go back and try it again just because I thought that Kakushigoto's comedic timing was literal gold. Anyway, Kakushigoto's good. You should watch it if you want some father-daughter goodness and maybe just prepare for a really not so great last episode. Lapis Relights is an idol show.
Go on.
That's it. I've watched the first few episodes of it. It's very generic and honestly a little bit boring, but it's also super gay, so I might stick with it. It's also not horrifyingly animated. I'm not fond of the CGI dancing from the few idol performances that we have received. I do think it also has an interesting premise. It's just they introduced the interesting premise in the first episode and then put it in the back burner for the next 2 episodes that I watched. So maybe it'll get better. I don't know. It's a fun little romp. There's a goose that they chase around in like episode 2, which is kind of cool.
Best character. Best fucking character.
It's funny. The character designs are very soft. It's not anything of substance, but it's not bad. In comparison to other things I've watched, I find it to be a little bit mediocre and boring. But watching it with a friend is helpful, and I'm watching this with Terry, so I think that will give it a better upped experience. So if you like idols, I would definitely recommend checking it out because the girls are super cute and the character designs are super nice, and it is absolutely gay. It's just that I think that the story premise isn't as strong as, for example, a Love Live, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
Symphogear is also an idol show.
It really is.
And it has girls punching, and I've watched the first 3 episodes, and I'll probably watch more. It's like if Michael Bay made a magical girl show that was also an idol show. And that sounds really dumb. And if you think that sounds dumb, you are absolutely correct. It is super dumb. But I like it, and I think I'll watch more of it. I watched it because I felt left out because Lily and Craig were talking about Symphogear, and I had never watched a single episode of Symphogear, and now I have watched 3, and now I at least have a small morsel to bring to the lunch table.
I watched all of season 1 of this. Tachibana just really wants to hold your hand, and she will protect you. The show gets kind of like dark at times. A lot happens in the first episode. It doesn't, ironically, the show doesn't hold your hand, but Tachibana wants to hold your hand in a lot of regards. There's like 5 seasons of the show. So I want to keep watching and see all the Michael Bay-ass Transformer magical girls fight the noise, which are giant monsters that can ice anything that they touch.
Yeah, the monsters like turn people to like dust if they touch you.
Real quick on Symphogear, just a slight trigger warning. There is some hardcore shit, and there's fan service for whatever reason. I hear it kind of gets a little bit more off the rails as the series progresses. So yeah.
The way that Lily describes Symphogear to me is that it came out very closely after Madoka, and it was trying to be Madoka. And you can tell that from the first episode, because they try and make it this dark, tragic, like magical girl setup story, and then like halfway through the first season they said fuck it, we don't want to be a Madoka clone, and instead they just decided to do their own thing and basically be really bombastic and crazy and like basically a blockbuster action movie, but it's an anime magical girl idol show. One thing that is very funny to me that Lily let me know, and I don't have a source to verify if this is true, but I'm sure she could give me one if necessary, but I guess the first season of Symphogear did very badly. But it got a second season based entirely on Nana Mizuki's vocals because the CD and the soundtrack that accompanied this fucking show sold like hotcakes. So they made another season so they could make more Nana Mizuki music. And I just think that that's funny.
The goddamn power of Nana Mizuki never stops.
It doesn't.
It's funny. It's... That girl's got the pipes to move products.
She is a product. She's a corporation and the CEO.
I like it.
God damn. Oh, ooh. So then, Craig, I feel like you saved your best for last.
I mean,
potentially.
Okay. Fuck. So I have 2 of them. Do you want me to talk about
That's fine.
Okay.
Just go. Go ahead.
So Fruits Basket 2019 Season 2 Electric Boogaloo continues. It's existentialist look at the human psyche of being in high school. Man, high school's a rough time, guys. You gotta really know what you want to do with your life, or if you want to go to college or the workforce, you know.
I don't really feel like that's what the plot of Fruits Basket is at all.
No, but that was what that parent-teacher
conferences. That was like one episode.
Okay, then this season is summer, and they go to a summer beach house, and shit gets really fucking dark really quickly. I wrote in my notes here, fuck Akito? And that's really all I have for season 2. Cass, you're farther than me.
I think that Fruits Basket has and always will be one of the most influential shoujo pieces of literature and animation of all time. And I think the fact it is getting the Brotherhood treatment is amazing. And I am so happy that old and new fans are being treated to the beautiful masterpiece that is Fruits Basket. That show is amazing. It does, I was joking with Craig, but it does cover, some very real conversations, such as where you want to be as a human being after high school, who you want to be in general, what kind of person you are, whether you're a good person, whether you're a bad person, and why you lay those kind of specifications on yourself to begin with. I think one of the things that has always made Fruits Basket one of the best shows and one of the best mangas I have ever read is that it has a very good understanding of the human condition.
Yeah.
And I have only seen that kind of writing elsewhere in Chika Umino's works. I think that Fruits Basket for me is like March Comes In Like a Lion and Evangelion had a weird baby, and it is the best.
It definitely just like it's raw at times. Like it definitely does strike the combination, right? I haven't seen Ava, but it definitely, like, Lion definitely has that vibes too, of just like, how do you deal with like depression, self-loathing, trauma, all that sort of shit. And it's just, man, and how do you express yourself and try and deal with situations like Yuki with the student council is really good, like trying to get out of your comfort zone and try and better yourself. Yeah,
I think what I was trying to get at with the March Comes In Like a Lion and Evangelion mix is that I think that, much like March Comes In Like a Lion, like you mentioned, they establish real world problems with several different solutions. And it's really about the characters learning about each other and getting to know each other and understand each other's struggles, failures, trauma, everything, to be able to find a way to move on. The reason I compare it to Evangelion, outside of the existential crises that a lot of the characters face, is that there is a supernatural element that is attacking these in the form of the curse. Much like the angels that are fought in Evangelion that force these, oftentimes, children to face things that they should not have to face. The same is true of the Soma family and the curse and those who interact with them. They have to learn to come to terms with things that normal people do, but also with an extra layer of trauma that most people don't endure. And I think that it does a very good job of making that work. And I just unabashedly love Fruits Basket. That's it. That's all I got.
So I've been playing a lot of video games and let animes kind of like slide, and I've been doing catch-up work like the last week or so. And I tried watching Fruits Basket, and last left off on Momiji's episode, a specific episode with him. And I told myself, I can't binge this, otherwise that or I will cry. So I need to kind of pace myself and catch up. I hear, I forgot her name, but Cass made a tweet about her. The horse girl. Rin. Yeah. I hear that you'll learn more about her in this season, and I'm excited to figure out what her deal is.
Rin's arc is, I think, in my personal opinion, one of the best. Now that's saying like one of the best among like literally a bunch of other perfect character profiles, but I think that her story and backstory is one of the most relatable to me personally. And also I think is just so poignant and beautifully done in the anime. It's some of the best episodes. Story and just thematically and directorially done. They do a lot of really fun stuff with shots and oh god, I could go on for days about Fruits Basket, so I'm going to shut up after this sentence. But they do a lot of really cool stuff with her arc specifically, and I have had to actually take a few weeks off from watching Fruits Basket because her arc hit me that hard. Like I just needed to process and sit down and just think about it for a really long time.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Lastly, Decadence. The guy who did Mob Psycho 100 and Death Parade, Tachikawa. This Studio Nut original,
Nut!
Decadence. Ha. So I know Cass has watched the first 2 episodes of this. Cammy, did you watch the first 2 episodes?
I did watch the first 2 episodes, yes.
Okay, do we want to talk about, like, the twists with this?
I don't feel like we should, because
Okay.
I think that one of the best things about Decadence is its twist and its an eventual building upon that twist.
All right,
so
then you can feel free to cut this.
No, we can still talk about Decadence. I'm just saying maybe we should not specifically identify what the twist is. Yeah, like you could say there's a really cool twist at the end of episode 1 or the beginning of episode 2 in which it employs A, B, and C tactics without spoiling it for other people.
Definitely. So this basically from the get-go is like a world where they fight monsters on the mobile fortress Decadence, and the way it's shot, it kind of like reminded me of like Attack on Titan, and you meet this.
I could see that.
You meet this spry girl named Natsume, and she's like assigned a role. She wants to be a soldier, but she's assigned like maintenance, and she's like, I want to do more than this. And again, it gives you, going back to my theme of, or the thread of all my shows, is the underdog, basically just like, I want to prove myself as more than what society has deemed me. What role I've been assigned in this system, the cog in the machine. And she basically gets assigned as maintenance, and basically her boss, Kaburagi, is like, kid, you gotta clean the machines. And then a battle breaks out against the Gadal, which are basically like, not Attack on Titans, but they're like crazy looking monsters, and they use basically 3D maneuvering gear from Attack on Titan to basically puncture them to bleed them dry. It's really cool. Like, the world itself is pretty cool. And the further it goes in, it just continues to talk about like how Natsume kind of makes her own lot in life. I've watched up to episode 6 today. And even knowing like what the crazy the bigger picture, it still is pretty cool, and I want to know what happens more. But I will leave that for you lovely listeners to discover. If Twitter hasn't already gotten to you by now, and you know where the guy from Flip Flappers falls into this piece of this production. So, yeah, definitely check it out. It's like next to God of High School, probably like the only summer show that people are talking about outside of Rent a Girlfriend for the zeitgeist moment. But hey,
I feel like fandom overall has actually been pretty good about not spoiling Decadence.
Good.
But maybe that's just my specific Twitter feed.
Good.
I don't know. But yeah, I hear most people say like it's so worth it to go in blind, so just go in blind, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're still watching it, because I haven't gotten past episode 2.
Is now is that a case of, did you lose interest? Because I talked to Cass earlier today, and she's like, I've just been busy. It's not because the thing pulled the rug out from under me and I completely fell off the bandwagon. Is that the case with you? Did you just kind of like get busy and loop on hell?
Yeah, I didn't necessarily like. I don't think it's a bad twist, but it wasn't necessarily what I was enjoying in the first episode.
Yeah.
And then, but I feel like I could go and give it another episode to basically integrate these things that it's trying to do.
Yeah.
And see if I am into it. But yeah, like I totally see why people like it, and I'm also just really happy to see an anime trying to do something really original and challenging and stuff, and especially in this time, that's really awesome that it's out here and it's doing what it's doing, and people seem to really like it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You can enjoy a show doing something without liking what it does or without being completely on board with what it does. Like I feel like that's honestly kind of how I feel about Tatami Galaxy, to be completely honest. Like I feel like I mean maybe in a few weeks I'll change my mind as I have time to sit with it, but I do feel like there were a lot of times in Tatami Galaxy where I felt the repetition was a bit too much, that the joke was not as funny the 8th time, that maybe I was missing a lot of information in the bullet hell like dialogue, and so on and so forth. But I appreciate what the Tatami Galaxy does. If somebody were to come up to me and say, should I watch Tatami Galaxy, I would say yes. But I would also say I found a lot of aspects of it a tad bit boring and nuanced and not necessarily what I wanted out of the narrative. But I think overall, I respect it and think that it is a good show.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's very well said. Yeah, so, I mean, definitely for a show this season, I'd recommend giving the first 2 episodes of Decadence a try, just for interest's sake.
Yeah.
I really liked the first 2 episodes of Decadence. I didn't get to give my 2 cents, but I thought it was great.
No, please, yes.
I started the second episode, and I was really pissed off at first. Like, I thought they were doing one thing, and then it turned out they were doing a completely different thing, and I think it's juicy and interesting, and I really appreciate that they put a twist at the beginning of the show instead of the end of the show. I think that's really cool, and I like it.
Yeah, and with that twist, you kind of see more of the themes of the show, and you get to kind of like know what Kabaragi's deal is, which is really cool.
Right.
Yeah, but that's it. That's all I got. We've been talking for almost 2 hours.
Yay!
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and close us out real quick by hitting you with some new and improved and updated social links.
Ooh.
The first, new and improved. The first one, if you want to catch us, we are still at Twitter. However, our handle is changed. We are now at twitter.com/Shoujo Treehouse. However, our email is actually still a little bit nostalgic. If you want to email us, you can do so at anniechatmail@gmail.com. We are still available on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. And our Patreon handle has also changed, so it is now patreon.com/Shoujo Treehouse. We have remodeled our Patreon at the moment and have basically created a universal tier at a level of $3 where we can give you everything that we decide to throw at you for bonus content. So that's Box Bits episodes, singing covers, random drunken episodes while we watch movies. Basically, if you enter that tier, you will get access to everything. You are welcome to donate more if you want. If you really, really want us to review a show, you can donate $15. However, we don't have it split up into so many small micro tiers like we did before. So if you are interested, maybe take a look at the new status, see how you like it, see if you are interested. And we do want to give a shout out to our current patrons, Sarah, CorpsyAnn, Carol, Suki, TroubleClef, John, Nocturne, and Cassie, who is financially supporting us like a parent. And I love it.
Listen, I know we got that SoundCloud to pay off at the beginning of the year, and I just think it would make more sense for me to put $3 aside a month instead of in January going, oh no, where is all my money?
Yeah. We gotta revisit that. I will get you the payment for that. Cassie is the nurturing production mother, and we all appreciate it very, very much. Definitely hit us up on any of our social links. Tell us how much you miss hearing Craig's voice. I know that will make him very happy. So, with that said, I'm gonna go ahead. And I'm sorry, Craig, did you have something to say?
Oh no, I don't have anything to plug. I mean, if you miss me, then just follow me on Twitter.
That's true. Yes.
Twitter.com/SerosCanoel, SEAROSCANOEL. There you go.
Follow him for the anime, the good anime shit.
Basically.
You can check us all out on Twitter for that. So with that said, we are going to close out this little episode of ours again. This has been episode 5, technically, of Shoujo Treehouse. And we wish you all a very good night, and we hope you listen to us again soon.
Oh, yes,
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Peach.
Nothing else lives in my head except for Lupin the Third now. That's it.
I mean,
All
what a good thing to be stuck in your brain.
That's such Zach's fault. It's all Zach's fault.
I mean,
Oh, it is. Cassie, as soon as you said, you were like, okay, I'm adding this to my watch list, I messaged Zach and I was like, another one has been added to the church. And he's like, I'll live the church de Lupin.